Good afternoon, fellow Magic the Gathering players, or whatever time this video reaches you. My name is Jeremy Class, and this is Magic with Class. I'm coming to you live from my home to offer you some perspective on all things Magic the Gathering. I've been playing the game for about 10 years. I'm a huge fan and a huge supporter of the game overall. And Magic the Gathering has been with me through some tough times and through some great times as well. I'm the person that I am because of the game, and I've been wanting to share my experiences with the community for a long time. So finally, I took the plunge. I created a Magic the Gathering channel, and I hope to bring to you guys all things Magic the Gathering, including news, deck tech and deck building, some card and set reviews, and other things. So my first video is just going to be an overview of what I want the channel to be or to become over time. And then I'm going to talk about some Magic the Gathering news that everyone has been chiming in about. So for now, I'm just going to be posting videos. I hope to post a video daily, every day, to give you guys some content consistently. But over time, I'm going to choose what type of content I want to put on each day. So, I haven't exactly filled out the schedule. Maybe Mondays will be me showing you a deck tech. Maybe Tuesdays will be me streaming Magic Arena for you guys. Wednesdays, maybe I'll talk about some news. Maybe Thursdays, I'll do something in the financial department. But I've got some big plans for the channel, and I hope you tune in. And if you like what you see, please comment and subscribe. I welcome all support, all criticism, all comments. I am new to this, so over time I'm hoping that this becomes something that you guys will love. And I will love doing it as well. So, with that being said, everyone right now has one thing in mind when they talk about Magic the Gathering, and that's the Walking Dead Secret Lair that was released last night. So, everyone has been chiming in on their opinion whether or not the Walking Dead Secret Lair is good for the game, is bad for the game, people's personal opinions on it. I'm not going to give my biased opinion about whether or not I think you should go out and buy the Secret Lair or not. But I'm just going to talk about it because it's all over the news and it actually has gotten me pretty excited. There's a lot of negativity in the Magic the Gathering community right now over it. Maybe it's justified, maybe it's not. But I just want to sit down and have a genuine conversation about the product. So the Secret Lair, a lot of controversy comes from the fact that this is one of the first times where they're mixing IPs. It's a crossover between The Walking Dead and Magic the Gathering. A lot of people are okay with crossovers. This is the first time they have done a crossover. They did in Aquaria, they did a Godzilla crossover. They've crossed over with Transformers before. They've crossed over with My Little Pony before. But this is the first time that it seems like the IP for The Walking Dead has eclipsed the IP for Magic the Gathering. Of course, IP means intellectual property. So while most people do not seem to have an issue with the crossovers, it seems like people have an issue with some other things about the Secret Lair, and I'm just going to talk about what arguments those people are bringing up. Whether or not I agree with those arguments or I don't agree with those arguments, I don't want to share in this video. Maybe in a future video. But here are the arguments against the product. The first argument is that Magic the Gathering needs to stay Magic the Gathering. That if you mix intellectual properties, that somehow lessens the game. They think that The Walking Dead is a slippery slope. Right now, The Walking Dead It's just The Walking Dead. Tomorrow it could be Marvel. The next day it could be Star Wars, WWE. Whether or not that's a positive or a negative for the game, it seems like many people are leaning towards it being a negative. I guess for people who want to experience those other intellectual properties, a lot of people are arguing that there are games where you can interact with Marvel characters or Disney characters or whatever, but there's only really one Magic the Gathering. Another argument I'm seeing is that The Walking Dead is rated mature, while Magic the Gathering is rated 13 and up. So there's a difference there. First, I want to say that The Walking Dead was not originally rated mature. It was originally rated about TV-14, which is about the same market as Magic the Gathering. It changed into a more mature market after the Negan episode where he kills two characters. I don't want to get too much into the show, but it's between... Yeah, the show really is between something that is for teens and something that is for more mature, younger adults. A lot of people explicitly are mentioning Negan as a character that they don't want in the game because of his history, especially his negative like sexual history and the way he treated women in the show. That's an okay argument, but I do want to say that as a fan of The Walking Dead, who has read the comics and who has seen almost every episode, I will mention that Negan explicitly states that he does not rape. Now I know that in the TV show he creates situations where he blackmails people into doing like sexual favors for him, but he is very against the physical act of rape. And in the comics, he actually kills two characters outright for committing rape. So when I'm seeing the argument that Negan is somehow worse than characters like Nico Bolas, who committed like mass genocide, it seems like a poor argument that people are using just because they don't like the product or they don't want the product. Another argument that I'm seeing is that the cards actually break the color pie or lean towards so much that lean towards flavor more than they do actual mechanics that would fit the colors that the characters are. And when I'm going to talk about each individual card, and I'm going to talk more about the mechanics of the card and whether the mechanics and the flavors are matching, whether the flavor matches with the colors and the personality of the cards. But I'll do that in a few. Another argument that I'm seeing a lot is the distribution method of the Secret Lair. Basically, people are saying that they would not be so upset about this product if it was either more widely released or if they were going to release these cards in another easier to obtain product. Maybe if these characters were released in Commander Legends, or if there was future plans that they had announced to release these cards at a later date, people would be a little happier. But I think what's getting people is that they're charging $50 for 5 or 6 cards, which leans towards the more expensive side. And if they did it once, people are arguing, they're probably gonna do it again. So if they're charging $50 plus tax or plus shipping for 5 or 6 unique cards, now what prevents them from next week releasing 5 more cards that are unique and cost $50, right? So people are a little upset about the price, and they're saying that this is a direct way to sell singles to the players. And it also allows them to basically set the secondary market if the cards are unique. So they're saying that these cards can be reprinted in a different form. They're saying that the art and the mechanics for these cards are not going to be reprinted, but they can reprint mechanically identical cards, either with the Magic the Gathering name and just have the Magic the Gathering card and the Walking Dead's cards have different names but still count as the same card. Now, they've never done that before, and I don't know how that would actually work within the rules, because two cards with different names cannot legally be called the same card. And there are cards that have different names but mechanically do the same thing, and you're allowed to run 2 of them in Commander or 8 of them in most other formats. What they're saying is if they make a Magic the Gathering version of these Walking Dead cards, you will not be able to run both of those cards in a deck. How they would do that within the rules, I don't know. I'm not even sure if they know. They may have to change the rules completely. Would that mean that in the future, 2 cards that are mechanically the same but have different names, you couldn't play them both in the same deck? I don't know. Also, what a lot of people are not seeing or realizing is that this kind of and this is another argument that I've heard, is that this creates something called like an art reserve list, because these cards will never be reprinted in an identical form. They may be reprinted in a mechanically identical form, but you're never going to get the same package again. And this isn't coming from me. This isn't something I said. This was something that Wizards said on the stream. So basically, I forgot who it was, but a spokesperson or an employee of Wizards specifically said that the art in Secret Lairs cannot get reprinted. And the example that he used was Acidic Slime. The Acidic Slime card in Slime Time with that special art will never, ever, ever be reprinted. Acidic Slime, the card, could get reprinted, and it has plenty of printing, some which are extremely cheap. But that Acidic Slime with that specific art will never, ever get reprinted. So that means that there's now a new reserve list that's only for art. Only for the art. Maybe that doesn't bother most people. Maybe most people are more concerned about the mechanics of the card rather than the art of the card. But I think it is important to note that these cards may go up in value simply because their art will never be reprinted. These cards are unique. Even if they are reprinted mechanically, the art will always be unique. Now, this is what was said on the stream as an official statement. Maybe they'll go back on this. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll say that it was set in error. But so far they have not reprinted, as far as I know, any of the Secret Lair arts in a different product. So a lot of the controversy also comes from the fact that Mark Rosewater Marrow recently said that buy a box promos were extremely unpopular, and the reason why they were unpopular was because there was no other way to get them except to go physically into a local game store and to purchase a box. Now, there's a few things I've personally found wrong with that argument. First, I think that, it was a little insensitive to our current situation, to the current situation that our world is experiencing, because I and most people I know have not been in a local game store in 5 or 6 months. The local game stores all around me have been shut down for almost 6 months, or maybe even longer than 6 months. So when he's saying that you physically need to enter a store to get the buy a box promo, well, that's just not true. That hasn't been true in months. I can order a a box online through my local game store, and they would ship the buy a box promo to me. Now, the reason why this is a problem is because he said that the difference between the buy a box promo and the Walking Dead Secret Lair was that with the Walking Dead Secret Lair, you don't physically need to go anywhere. But, that was just not true. To get a buy a box promo right now, I don't need to physically go anywhere. To get the Walking Dead Secret Lair, I would need to physically go somewhere if I don't live in a country where they ship to. So I didn't really, I thought that was a poor argument, a very easily countered argument, and I'm questioning why he's putting this in writing on his Tumblr when people are countering his arguments pretty easily. Well, that's just my opinion. So I think I went over, one other thing that people have mentioned as a potential issue with these secret layers, especially when they're mechanically unique, is that they're going to make a mistake. And they're comparing it to Nexus of Fate. Kenrith was also a really strong card that was an exclusive buy a box promo. But Nexus of Fate is the one that stands out in everybody's mind. Basically, they don't want another mistake like Nexus of Fate, where now all of a sudden you need to buy 4 Walking Dead Secret Lairs, which would cost over $200 because you need 4 of Glen or you need 4 of Rick to play a competitive legacy or vintage deck. And right now, it doesn't seem like, I've looked at all the Walking Dead cards and I will discuss them. It doesn't look like any of them are powerful enough to see play in like legacy or vintage. But I'm going to be honest, the Rick card is pretty close. The Rick cards explicitly supports human tribal, and they print new humans every single set. And they print powerful humans every single set. If the Rick card was legal in Modern, there's no doubt that it would see competitive play in the competitive Tier 1 Modern Humans deck. I would not be surprised if a Legacy Humans deck started using Rick. That could be problematic because it would mean that the price of Legacy will go even higher than it already is, and it's already pretty high. So there's also that issue. As they continue to make more of these mechanically unique secret layers, eventually they're going to mess up with the power level. How many cards have been banned within the last 3-4 years? Probably more than any cards have been banned in Standard for all the other previous years. So that is a genuine concern because they seem to be missing the mark on judging power level. But I must say, the Secret Lair Walking Dead seems pretty well balanced. And I think since I already started talking about the Rick card, I think I'll just go into talking about each card, the flavor of each card, the mechanic of each card, and what I think about it, and maybe like what type of deck, what would run it. So since I already started talking about Rick, I think that's the card I'm going to focus on first. So Rick is a tribal lord. A tribal lord is a card that supports creatures of a specific type. Specifically, Rick supports humans. And honestly, when I looked at the card, I thought it was awesome. The flavor is really, really good. He's a leader among humans. He inspires humans. So when he's on the battlefield, he helps out all your humans. That really defines Rick in the TV show. He's mono white, which I think also reflects his personality in the TV show and the comic really well. And I think the Rick card is probably the strongest out of the Walking Dead Secret Lair. So when he enters, you get to choose 2 out of 3 abilities: First Strike, Lifelink, or Vigilance. This has memory issues because you can forget which 2 you selected. The fact that he gives Vigilance and First Strike is very flavorful, right? When Rick is around, everyone acts more vigilant because their leader is around. When Rick is around, he inspires them when they need to strike first. I'm not really sure where they're getting the lifelink. The lifelink makes him a more powerful card, but I think the flavor is a little off there. So, his second ability gives all humans +2/+2, but only when you control 4 or more humans. And that is honestly a perfect representation of who Rick is and what he does. Basically, when Rick is part of a group, not only is he significantly stronger, but he makes everyone else in the group significantly stronger by bringing out the best in them. So I think this is an amazing card in terms of flavor because it really captured Rick. If anything, this card might be too powerful, but it's cool. It's a cool card. So the next card that I want to talk about is Negan, since I already started talking a little bit about Negan. The flavor for Negan is also really, really, really good. The ability represents the time in the TV show and in the comic where he killed Glen in both the comic and the TV show. And in the TV show, he also kills Abraham. I forgot if in the comic he kills Abraham during this time. But the ability really captures that random guessing game of who he's going to kill. And I really like that aspect. The creating a treasure whenever an opponent's creature dies, I guess makes sense because I guess the card is trying to say when he kills someone, he takes their stuff, he takes their treasure, which is what he did in the show. He would go to other colonies, he would kill people, bully them, and then he would take their treasures, at least 50% of their treasures. So I think that's pretty well done. I'm also going to mention while I'm talking about Negan, a card that was revealed on the Talking Dead show. And that is the card Lucille, which is in a legendary equipment, right? Lucille represents the bat, the very famous bat that Negan uses quite often, and the bat he used to kill Glen. The flavor for the bat, Lucille, is really, really good too. First of all, since it's a bat, it makes you a little more powerful. It gives you a +2 power bonus, which makes sense. And it also gives menace. Basically, they're saying whoever's holding this bat is menacing, which is the truth, right? When you attack, when the creature that is equipped to this card attacks, it also forces your opponent to sacrifice a creature. Basically, when you attack with the equipment, it kills something, right? Which is what happens in the show. When Negan attacks with the bat, usually someone's gonna die. And what happens when someone gets killed in the Walking Dead universe? Well, they turn into a walker. They turn into a zombie, and that's exactly what the card does. When you kill something with the bat, you get a 2/2 zombie, which is called a walker in the rules. So, really, really cool card, I think. I will say that the way that it was revealed, the legendary equipment Lucille, was really weird. I was watching the Talking Dead yesterday, and I thought they were going to do like a full box opening. I thought they were going to talk about each individual card on the Talking Dead, but they didn't. The segment was honestly less than a minute. He quickly showed the Lucille card, didn't talk about the mechanics behind the card, so I had to look up what the card did online. I don't know whether the Talking Dead is trying to downplay its relationship with Magic the Gathering because of all the negativity, or maybe Wizards of the Coast told them to downplay the product. But it was really strange that they didn't give much time to the Secret Lair. Like, they didn't even really show the card. Maybe the person who was, maybe the host of the Talking Dead excuse me, maybe the host of the Talking Dead just isn't really into the Magic the Gathering, and he really didn't know much what to say because he doesn't play the game, doesn't know what the cards actually do. But you know, he had guests on the show, so he could have asked their opinion. Um, so anyway, I talked about Negan, I talked about the equipment, and I talked about Rick. The next card that people are talking about a lot is Glen. The Glen card. In my opinion, the Glen card is probably the second strongest legendary creature behind Rick. People are saying that it's going to see heavy play in Legacy, heavy play in Vintage. I don't think that's true. I think it's a good card for Commander, but I don't think it's going to see any play beyond the Commander tables. But it is an interesting card for